Welcome to Inspiring Possible. I'm Christy Pennison, former stuck person turned therapist and dream consultant. Are you feeling stuck, overwhelmed, uncertain, or just need a little inspiration? Then I want to help you gain the clarity, confidence, and courage to create possibilities and live a life you love. Because folks, life's too short to be miserable. Hey, welcome back, my inspiring possible peoples. Thanks for tuning in to another episode. Man, I'm so thankful for you, and I'm glad that you continue to listen to this podcast. If you're joining us for the first time, this is a place where hopefully you'll get a little bit of inspiration, maybe some direction or things to think about when you're making a decision in your life. It may help you re-dream again, learn how to dream again, create possibilities, create clarity around what you want for your life, and then create goals that will help you get there. To be honest, I used to be somebody who lived my life very reactively. I wasn't proactive about life. I was reactive about life. And when I say that I was reactive about life, what I mean is that life was happening to me. I wasn't someone who was really trying to be intentional about what I actually wanted life to look like. I guess for me, I didn't think that that was a possibility. I think you just, sometimes learn how to adult and you just say, okay, I just got to get up today. I got to do whatever my responsibilities are. And then I got to go to sleep and then I got to repeat it again. And then I realized at some point when I started to listen to different, more encouraging things, inspiring things, listen to what other people were doing, challenge some of the limiting beliefs that I held about myself, then things started to shift when I actually created some goals and got clear about what was important to me for my life, not what somebody else thought should be important to me, what actually I thought was important, and then created some intention around that. Things really started to shift and change. Which is why this podcast exists and why I want to encourage you to really take some time to do that reflection, to gain that clarity, to figure out in your life what's not working, and then also create a plan of what you want to see that's different and take small steps every day that will ultimately lead you to where you want to be. Trust me, it's crazy how it works, but just sometimes writing it down can really create a lot of possibilities for your life. And so today I want to talk about something that I think we all struggle with at times, because we can sit here and create these possibilities, or we can write it down on paper and we can say, this is the next step that I'm going to make. But sometimes we have to make choices that are not so black and white. It's not like this is the choice I should make, this is the direction I should go in, because there's a lot of uncertainty about what will happen if we make that choice. And so because I think making decisions, making choices can be really difficult and occasionally overwhelming, I thought I'd spend a little bit of time today giving you some thoughts about what to think about or some questions to ask yourself when you're faced with a choice that is just uncertain. I can think about 6 months ago, actually not even quite 6 months ago, I had a really big choice to make, more so in my business. And this was a choice that had risk associated with it. It was uncertainty. It was a choice about whether or not to expand. And it was really scary for me. And I wasn't sure the choice that I should make. So I took some time reflecting on it. I took some time looking at some different numbers. I'm a person of faith, so I took some time in prayer and really just trying to say, what did I feel peace about? And let me be clear, folks, just because you gain a peace about something doesn't also mean that you are scared a little. So you can have a peace about something and still do something scary. But making a choice that you are committing to can really help you move the needle forward towards whatever goal or vision that you have. But we have to make a lot of choices anyways in a given day. And I think that's why sometimes choices can be overwhelming, because we have to make a choice from like, what time should I wake up? Should I exercise or not exercise? what should I spend my time doing, what to wear, what to eat, what to watch on Netflix. I mean, that's a choice I have to really sometimes consider. Should I read this book first or that book first? Or, what should I do if you have kids, like with my child's education? I mean, there is just small choices that we have to make every day. But then there's also these bigger choices like, should I buy a house? If so, what kind? What kind of car do I need to travel around with or want? You know, and even when it comes to relationships, who should I date? Should I marry this person? Do we want children? What about my career? So the list of questions and options to the questions that we have are endless. And honestly, just when you think you've found an answer, there may be something else that pops up that you're like, oh, I didn't even think about that option. It's crazy. Just ask somebody, if you're trying to make a choice, ask them about this choice that you're making. And they might even actually come up with a different option you hadn't even considered. So with all of these choices that we have to make, the big, the small, the in between, it's hard because we also have a lot of options. I think about, I'm just going to go on my little be it a woman tangent right here, which I know we have a lot of men listening. So thank you, men that are listening. But I have to sometimes sit back and think like, what I can do now as a woman was not something that I could do maybe 30 years ago, 40 years ago, 50 years ago. Just the ability to do some of the things that I've been able to do. I just don't think it would have been possible if the clock was turned back a little bit. But there's also things that we can do now that we couldn't even done when I was a kid. Like, I just think about me. I'm still a young spring chicken. But when I was a child, I watched Saturday morning cartoons. Okay. There was no option to watch cartoons because we did not have cable any other day of the week. But now as a kid, I can watch a cartoon all day, every day on an iPad, a phone, a TV, and say that to say we have tons of choices. It's a lot of options for the choices that we make. And so things have changed drastically just in my lifetime about what's possible, but then also what are options to certain choices. And this can actually lead to anxiety and thoughts of questioning yourself. Did I make the right decision? Even if you are a confident decision maker who knows what you want, you can clearly identify where you want to go next, what you want life to look like. And trust me, those people are a lot rarer than you think. But even if you are that, it still can lead to overwhelm when making a choice, and you can still question whether I've made the right choice to begin with. So, how do you make a choice that is right for you? Well, here are just a few suggestions. When you're faced with making a choice for something, the first thing you want to identify is what is your ideal choice. I often spend more time evaluating all the choices available instead of evaluating my end goal. So, if you're thinking about making a decision, take some time and identify what is it that you truly want. And sometimes, folks, what you really want or what you think you really want isn't actually the thing that you want. I experience this a lot. I've had the honor and privilege to work with, I don't know how many people at this point. It's been a lot throughout at least over a decade at this point through therapy. And a lot of times I've interacted with people that say, hey, this is what I want in life. But the deeper we dig, the more we find out that actually what they want isn't exactly what they're saying they want. It's something different. So taking the time to get clear on what things are a non-negotiable for you will help you limit your options, and it will help you make a decision aligned with your desired outcome. So Stephen Covey says, begin with the end in mind. And so we want to think about what our end goal is and then identify what would be ideal based off of that end goal that we are going towards. And then if we still can't figure that out, it's also doing the process of elimination of like, what is non-negotiable for me? If you're stressing out, I can remember this big decision that go back to the story earlier, 5 months ago, that I was trying to make. I was thinking about it so much that I was having a hard time really getting the clarity I needed. And so one of the things that you can do, and that I did in that moment, is to give your brain a break. We can get so wrapped up in making a decision, we get stuck on it, and we're not able to think of anything else. Does anybody relate? And it can drive you batty to the point of not even remembering what decision you were actually trying to make to begin with. So at this point, if you are experiencing this, holding it all in is not helpful, and trying to just reflect on it on your own is not the best solution. So instead of getting wrapped up in what's going on inside, try writing down your thoughts. This helps you get them out of your head. It gets you on paper. And if you're not a writer, well, another option is to talk it out. You can either talk it out with somebody that you actually trust, that you feel like has a little bit of good sense and wisdom. Just tell them, hey, I need somebody to talk through a decision that I'm trying to make. I do this a lot, maybe too much, but I find that it helps me gain clarity as well as get different perspectives that I may have missed. But there's also this really cool thing on your phone that you can do these days. It's called the record button, where you could have normally you have like a recording device that's in your phone that can be a voice recorder. So sometimes just actually walking around somewhere and talking to your phone and verbally processing it, you can actually replay it later to kind of listen to yourself and what are the different ideas that you came up with. So those are just some options. But if that still doesn't help you in your quest for clarity, then maybe try to distract yourself. And so take a break and do something else. Sing, dance, maybe play a game, go hang out with some friends or family, and just step back from the situation, because that can sometimes be helpful, especially when you're not able to make a resolution of like, this is what I want to do. For me, that time when I was making this decision, I did some kayaking. I actually got on my little kayak. It's something I like to do. I have a pond in front of my house, and I just went and floated around and paddled a bit. And it kind of helped me distract myself from all the thinking that I'd been doing. So after you've kind of maybe identified your ideal choice, gave your brain a break, or maybe wrote your thoughts down or talked to somebody else about it, I want you to do this final thing. And that is trust thyself. So often we do not trust ourselves. And maybe it's because, there's been decisions in the past that we've made that we've regretted. Maybe that we became so busy that we've forgotten to listen to the internal guidance system that is truly us, or learn to listen to our gut or trust ourselves. But I want to give you a word of encouragement today. Many roads often lead to the same destination. Yes, the trees may look different. Like when you think about going to the same destination, the roads you take may look different. The scenery may look different. The journey along the way may be totally different. But guess what? You can still make it to the same place most of the time, even if you take a different road. Now, will some roads be longer? Yes. Will some roads be shorter? Absolutely. Will some roads, if you try to take a clear cut, path to where you want to go that has never been paved before, will there be a lot of obstacles you have to clear out of your way? Yes. But you can still sometimes get to the same place. So we don't always know what'll happen or what tomorrow holds, or if we make a choice, we cannot determine how this thing's going to play out. I mean, listen, I've gotten good at like trying to figure out what's going to happen next, but every time that I think that I know the outcome that this choice is going to make, of what's going to happen when I make this choice, I am normally like, I don't want to say disappointed, but I'm always surprised, because it doesn't always go exactly how I imagine it's going to go in my mind. And so there is no magic mirror that helps you see in the future. I mean, I'm still looking for mine, and I'll be honest with you, I'm such a caring and generous person that I would share it with you if I found it, but I have not. So when it comes to making a choice, let go of some of those expectations and just make a decision. Sometimes just making a choice and committing to moving forward will help you learn what the next choice is that you need to make. So you are the only one who really knows you. And sometimes we just have to trust ourselves enough to know what we need. And as you go forward, once you commit to that choice, try not to look back. We can't undo the past, folks. We could only go forward into the future. And so you owe it to yourself to not get wrapped up in the coulda, woulda, shouldas of life. Really, the truth is that just becomes fruitless and it just creates more trouble than it's worth. I'm not saying that we shouldn't look into the past sometimes to understand the past, to understand how the past has affected our future. I think all of that is valuable. But what I'm trying to forewarn against here is getting in that kind of regret-based thinking where if I would have made a different choice or if I would have done this differently, like, nope, you made the choice, you decided, and you're learning as you go along. So if you think about the movie, I don't know if you ever saw this movie, Finding Nemo. It was a really cute movie back in the day. And I mean, kids still watch it. It's fun. I mean, it's about a fish. He gets lost. Somebody got to find him. Okay. But I remember the character Dory. Okay. I guess I like her because she reminds me a lot of me. Sometimes I just forget stuff. It's a blessing and a curse. But Dory really couldn't remember anything. Like as soon as she like remembered something, she forgot it. And it was just kind of chaos and pandemonium watching her try to remember what she was doing and where she was going. But there's one thing about Dory that I will have to say I absolutely loved and admired is the one thing that she did remember and that she continued to repeat was to just keep swimming, just keep swimming. So as soon as she forgot something, she'd remember, just keep swimming. And what I love about that is that she just remembered that she just needed to continue to take a step forward, to keep going. And so whatever choices you have to make, just know there is often no perfect choice. Just try your best and leave the rest. And you never know. You might just wake up and end up in a situation that you once thought was impossible. Until next time.
That's all for today on Inspiring Possible. If you found a little inspiration today, please go on over to iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you tune in to listen to leave us a comment and rate us. Also, make sure and link up with me at inspiringpossible.com to get the free Dream It, Write It, Do It workbook. And don't forget to follow us on social media and share this with anyone who needs to be inspired. Remember, if you can believe it, it's possible.